Good morning, children. Let us start with a new chapter, new lesson. How Prithviraj Chauhan won his bride. Prithviraj Chauhan won his bride. So the ladies in the marriage are called as bride and the gents are called as bridegroom. Bridegroom. Understood? So the wife who is going to be a wife is called as a bride and who is going to be the husband is called as a bridegroom. So here, how Prithviraj Chauhan won his bride. How he selected his wife. That's a lesson here. Prithviraj Chauhan was the last Rajput king who sat on the throne of Delhi. So this Prithviraj Chauhan, he was a king of Delhi. Okay, I'll just read it for you first and I'll explain. Prithviraj Chauhan was the last Rajput king who sat on the throne of Delhi. His cousin Jaichand was the king of Kanauj. Prithviraj was in love with Samyukta, the daughter of Jaichand, and the princess returned his love. But Jaichand was the deadly enemy of Prithviraj and refused to give his daughter in marriage to him. Instead, he ordered that Samyukta choose her husband at an open Swayamvar. In olden times in India, the princesses and women of high birth chose a husband from among all the princes and nobles gathered together. This was called a Swayamvar. Jaichand fixed the day for his gathering of princes from among whom he wanted his daughter to choose her husband. So, this is a story of Prithviraj Chauhan. He was a last Rajput king who was ruling Delhi. Who was ruling Delhi. He was on the throne of Delhi that time. So he had a cousin called Jaichand. And Jaichand had a very beautiful daughter called Samyukta. She was a princess. She was a princess of Kanauj. So Jaichand was ruling Kanauj. Prithviraj was ruling Delhi. Okay, but they both were cousins. Being cousins, Prithviraj was loving Jaichand's daughter, who was a princess. Her name was Samyukta. So even Samyukta was also loving Prithviraj. Understood? Both of them were in love with each other because they both were cousins. So Prithviraj and Jaichand were cousins. But Jaichand was the deadly enemy of Prithviraj. So, but what happened? Though they were cousins, and they were ruling in different areas, isn't it? Jaichand was very bad enemy of Prithviraj. Jaichand never liked Prithviraj. Though Prithviraj was loving his daughter, he was against it. And even daughter Samyukta was also loving Prithviraj. But Jaichand never wanted Prithviraj to be the husband of his daughter Samyukta. He never wanted her to marry Prithviraj. Samyukta should never marry Prithviraj. That was her father's wish. Who is her father? Jaichand. So, but Jaichand was the deadly enemy of Prithviraj and refused to give his daughter in marriage to him. Though Prithviraj came and asked, see, I want to marry your daughter. Both of us are in love with each other. Kindly marry us. But what did Jaichand say? No. Because he was against it, isn't it? So what he said? He was totally refused to give his daughter in the hands of Prithviraj. Instead, he ordered, let Samyukta choose her husband at an open swayamvar. So what he said? Both of them were loving each other, but still he said, no, I cannot give my daughter in your hands. So we will have a open meeting wherein all the princes will be invited. All the princes of different places will be invited. Let everybody come. And then what happened? My daughter, to whomever she feels is good to choose her husband, she will go and put the garland there because they will have a garland. Those are going for Swayamvar. They will have a garland in their hands and whoever they like, they just put to their necks. Understood? That garland will be put to the neck of that person whom she likes. So he said, okay, we will arrange for a Swayamvar. That was done. Even you can see in Ramayana how Sita chose Rama. So there was a competition was kept. There was a bow. bow, bana, billu. Billu was there, no? So that is a bow. Bow and arrow, billu, bana. Billu is bow and arrow is bana. So what happened? I am talking about Ramayana. There what happened? There also this Swayamvar was kept for Sita and all the princes were invited to the court, and finally what happened? Everybody tried to pick the bow. They had to just pick the bow and then put the arrow for that and then just leave it. But nobody could do that in Ramayana. Nobody could pick the bow. It was so heavy. But what did Rama do? Rama came easily. He just picked it up and he just put the bow for that, arrow for that, and then he played with that, isn't it? So the same way here, what happened? He just said, Jaichand said, okay, we will have a Swayamvar. We leave to the choice of Samyukta. Whomever she likes, let her go and put that garland to that person. So that that person will become the husband of my daughter. So what happened? See, in olden times in India, the princesses and women of high birth chose a husband from among all the princes and nobles gathered together. So in olden days it was like that. All those who are in royal family, the people, especially the ladies who were born in the royal family, they had that right. Like they can go and choose princes. They will be gathered. Everybody will be called. Everybody will be invited to that particular king's kingdom, and then this girl who has to get married, they will be giving a garland to that girl's hand, and it is left to her choice. She can go into that whole gathering, and she can put that garland to anybody. So to whoever she puts the garland, that person will be the husband of that girl. It was like that. Girl means here it is princess. Girl is not the normal girl. It is a princess, means king's daughter is called as princess. But all the princes will call, prince means what? The king's sons from all the kingdom. All the king's sons will be invited for that particular ritual. Okay, for a particular ceremony. They will all be called. So what happens? They will come there and then they will be sitting there. Sometimes there may be some competition. Sometimes what happens? They will be sitting there. And this girl will be, that is the princess will be given a garland and let to just go to everybody. And whoever she likes, what she can do, she can put a garland. So that person will become the husband of that particular princess. Like that it was. So in olden days that was followed for all the royal family princes. So see here, in olden times in India, the princesses and women of high birth, means royal family, chose a husband from among all the princes. Princess means here it is king's sons. Sons are called princes and the girls are called princesses. Understood? So princes and nobles. Nobles means the people, those who are in higher authority or article in high designation. Okay. So nobles gathered together. This was called as Swayamvar. What is that ceremony called? That is called as Swayamvar. So he said, okay, I will not give my daughter into the hands of Prithviraj Chauhan. So let us conduct a Swayamvar. In that Swayamvar, whomever she likes, let her go and put the garland. So I am going to get married that person to my daughter. Because he never wanted his daughter Samyukta to marry Prithviraj Chauhan. So what he did, you see now. Jaichand fixed the day for his gathering of princes, from among whom he wanted his daughter to choose a husband. So one fine day what happened? He arranged for a gathering. He invited all the princes of various places to come to his kingdom for Swayamvar. Understood? So he invited everybody there. So let us see what happens next. Okay, in the next class. Once again I will read it for you. Look at your book. Prithviraj Chauhan was the last Rajput king who sat on the throne of Delhi. His cousin Jaichand was the king of Kannauj. Once again I will read children. Prithviraj Chauhan was the last Rajput king who sat on the throne of Delhi. His cousin Jaichand was the king of Kannauj. Prithviraj was in love with Samyukta, the daughter of Jaichand, and the princess returned his love. But Jaichand was the Prithviraj and refused to give his daughter in marriage to him. Instead, he ordered, let Samyukta choose her husband at an open Swayamvar. In olden days in India, the princesses and women of high birth chose a husband from among all the princes and nobles gathered together. This was called a Swayamvar. Jaichand fixed the day for his gathering of princes from among whom he wanted his daughter to choose her husband. So let me stop it here. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you.